with Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysowitz, Chief of Staff Paul Mounds, and Governor Ned Lamont. TV stations will be getting started in 1 minute. TV stations will be getting started in 1 minute. Thirty seconds. And I'll give a reminder to please keep yourselves on mute unless you're asking a question. And if you do have a question, please use the hand raise function on Zoom. Once again, please use the hand raise function on Zoom, and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. We will get started in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysowitz, and I am here with Governor Lamont and our emergency operations team. I hope that everyone is staying off the roads and staying safe in their homes, and it's my pleasure to introduce our Governor, Ned Lamont, for an update on the storm. Governor.
Hey, thanks, Susan. Here with Joe Giletti, Mark Rolfe from Transportation, James Ravella from Public Safety, Mark Raymond in terms of IT and telecommunications, Paul Mounds. We have a virtual emergency operations center. We've been there all morning. Some of these folks have been there all night, just like the extraordinary people, especially over at DOT, out there in the plows. They've been out there for 12 hours and running right now, and it's just extraordinary what they're doing. It's a wicked New England storm, and it's going west to east. We predict that it would lighten up in the Litchfield County western area by early afternoon, not until later, not until mid-evening anyway, over in the greater New London, Wyndham area, where you're going to have much heavier snows. The good news is that the snow so far seems to be a little bit lighter. Lighter snow means less impact on trees, and less impact on trees means less impact on utilities. I think there's probably maybe 100 outages right now, but we're watching this carefully with the winds picking up. That could be a substantial issue. We've been in close contact with Avangrid and Eversource. They have hundreds of crews on the ground, on the ready, both tree and line, to make sure that your power stays up. I have been told, look, we have no tractor trailers. We shut that down at 3 o'clock this morning. That was the right thing to do. Rail is down, airport is down at this point. But I've got to urge each and every one of you, stay off the roads, like you heard Susan say. Right now, the snow is accumulating, especially in eastern Connecticut, where it's falling heavier at 3 inches an hour. Snow plows can't come around fast enough to get that cleared. That creates a lot of hazardous conditions. That plus the low visibility. We found on I-95 there have been a couple of terrible automobile accidents, one rollover. What that means in terms of your safety, what that means in terms of closing down that road, even temporarily, what that means in terms of making sure our plows and emergency vehicles can continue operating. This is going to go on through the evening, so that's why we're urging everybody to stay safe, stay at home. Look, this is not our first rodeo. We're the gateway to New England. We've been through these storms before. I got to tell you, I've just been extraordinarily impressed with the folks of the EOC, meeting all the folks who are going to be out there and are out there driving the snow plows. They know what they're doing. Joe Giletti's got 600 plus plows out there, a little short of people, but we got enough people. And then he's got a couple hundred contractors as backup. So I think we're going to be able to get through this pretty smoothly, provided you stay safe and stay home. With that, I think the group that's around our virtual emergency operations table, and love to take your questions.
Again, if you have any questions for the governor or members of the emergency Operations Center team. We will try to get to them. I don't know who iPhone is. If you could have your name on the on your account, that would be helpful. I think we'll start with Mike Savino from Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Governor, even with the truck ban in place, we did see some trucks on the highway until well into the morning. I don't know if you can talk a little bit about the enforcement of the ban, and is that something that state police are watching out for?
Look, we put it forward to 3 a.m. The tractor trailer trucks have a hard time, especially on these incredibly slick roads with low visibility. It was the safe thing to do. Joe, would you like to say something else about the enforcement there, or James?
I'll handle the enforcement side, Governor. And Mike, we did have a couple of traffic accidents before the 3 a.m. Traffic ban, but state police have been stopping vehicles out there. A couple were already cited for violation, and there are some exceptions to the what we call them TT trucks. These tractor trailer trucks, which includes medical supplies and/or COVID-related supplies. So sometimes we have to rely on how honest they are also.
And Governor, we didn't see any ban on cars in any part of the state. Was that something you would consider, especially areas of the state that are seeing blizzard or near blizzard conditions?
Obviously, we talked a lot with transportation and public safety about this. And you got to remember, Mike, we also talk with our neighbors in Rhode Island and Massachusetts and New York, just some consistency there. To date, the overwhelming majority of people are not driving. So I'm not sure that we need a ban, but I've got to reinforce that 5 times over, stay off the roads.
We'll go next to Jody Latina, News 8.
Good afternoon. Do we know how many violations or tickets may have been handed out? And then also, is there anything else you can report from municipalities? Is anyone having any issues?
James, do you have any insights there?
I'm going to hand that to the Colonel, Governor, and Brenda for the second part of the question. Colonel.
So there's only been a handful of infractions issued. However, 2 tractor trailers were cited for the violation of the ban.
The second part is any request for locals for state assistance.
So from the municipal perspective, we have our 5 regional coordinators are in constant communication with our municipalities. There have been no requests for state assistance. A number of municipalities have opened up their emergency operations center, either actually or virtually, and they're working through the storm that way.
As a quick follow-up, are the tractor trailers being held in a certain area of the state if for some reason they're unaware of the ban and they do enter the state on the highways?
DOT.
Go ahead, Colonel.
Mark Rolfe, do you know that?
Yes, Scott, we've made our rest areas and service plazas available for truck storage. We're not physically pulling trucks over, but those spaces are available.
So coordinating with,
Sorry, go ahead.
coordinating with DOT and the state police have been putting the tractor trailers in the rest areas and the way stations accordingly on the borders to the other states.
We'll move along next to Paul Hughes, the Waterbury Republican American.
Yeah, do we have any, you mentioned there's been a couple of bad accidents. Can we have some details on that?
Each of the accidents that have occurred, there was none that were reported with serious injuries.
Okay, no serious injuries. And what do we have any, can we give people any idea of what's going to be happening, say, with public transit on Sunday? What are, or when a call might be made on that.
Mark, do you or Joe want to speak to that?
I'm not sure if the commissioner's on the call. We shut down transit operations, all bus operations around the state for today. We envision that regular Sunday service will resume, assuming that the storm ends as predicted tonight, and we have most of the night to clean up after that. As for rail service, Metro North is running very limited service today, hourly train service. All the other commuter rails, Hartford Line, Shoreline East, and Amtrak have shut down for today. We'll expect an announcement later today on resumption of rail service.
And what do we have an end time yet on the tractor trailer restrictions?
Governor, I can take that. We're not prepared to make a recommendation. We're still in the midst of the storm right now. We need to better evaluate what the snowfall amounts are, what the wind conditions and how that impacts road safety. So we expect by later this afternoon, we'll have a recommendation on the truck travel ban.
Okay, thanks very much.
We'll go next to Dave Collins from the Associated Press.
Hi, everyone. Do you know how many calls for service state police have had during the storm? And is there any reports of any flooding on the shoreline?
State police have received over 500 calls for service since the start of the storm from recording at 0600.
And with regard to the flooding, we are, our regional coordinators are in touch with the coastal communities. We have not heard any reports of any flooding.
All right, thank you.
No more questions?
I'll just say so far so good, but it gets a little worse before it gets better, especially in Eastern Connecticut. A big hats off. Look, we've got snowplow guys who have been out there for hours. They got a 12 to 17 hour shift going round the clock. We got folks there backing up, keeping the roads clean and safe for other essential workers as they have to go to nursing homes, have to go to hospitals and the such. And the biggest thanks you can give to those folks who are going beyond the call and keeping us safe is to stay off the roads yourself for a little bit longer. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everything you're doing, especially at DOC.
And Gov, just wanted to add for people to please check on neighbors that are older or may need help.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.